Hey guys, Jason here for ChartGuys. If you don't know what ChartGuys is, it is a community of 1,000+ analysts who absolutely love charts. We love technical analysis. We love talking about trading. We love talking about stocks. And we focus on using technical analysis to perfect our entries and exits and get the most bang for our buck in our trading lives. So if you want to learn more about technical analysis or get an idea about what we do, I invite you to come check us out, chartguys.com. So we're taking a look at AMBA, and I'm starting on the weekly time frame because I want to point out that what I'm looking for after this big pop and this fade is going to be a little bit of a bounce. Now, I'm not going to expect a higher high over 67.15, which would mean the bulls absolutely taking back charge and getting right above that level again. What I'm going to look for is a lower high under that level and try to set up something like we saw over here. Here's a big drop, very similar looking. We see a big fade to the upside, and then we see a higher low, and eventually we break a level and continue. So that's a very plausible situation, and usually that's what I'd be looking for, and that is indeed what I'm looking for right now. It's going to be a very similar situation. Our RSI in this case is at 41. Now our RSI is at 62, having just cooled off a little bit. Now the distance from this bounce is what is making me believe we're going to give a higher low on the weekly time frame. So it's possible we've established our higher low right now at 56.21, and I meant to say I believe we're going to have a lower high on the weekly time frame under 67.15. It's possible we've established the higher low at 56.21 now. So what we're going to need to do is allow for this weekly candlestick to show a little bit of green and look for more upside. That's really going to lock in the fact that the bulls have been able to defend this level and establish it as a higher low. Until they show a little bit of green and conclusively move away from that level, it's possible that this weekly candlestick will just drop again and get that new lower low, which will still be the first low on this big impulse to the downside. Hopefully you're following along. And if you have any questions, I love to talk about this stuff, like I said. So happy to answer any questions you have in the comments or send them to me via email, info@thechartguys.com. Happy to help. That's what we do. So on the daily time frame, here we are, and this causes a little bit of hesitation. Here's a big red day, gap down, and this is a bear flag situation where we see this big impulse and then some sideways consolidation on relatively low volume. So this itself is a bearish pattern, which suggests more downside, and for that to execute, we would look for a loss of 56.21. So this is a little bit of a cause for concern for anyone looking into that bull position, and that is why we need to wait until we move away from things, or we move away from that low on the weekly time frame to really lock that in. So far, this is just consolidation with further downside risk. If we close green in the next few days and negate this pattern, that's going to add more credence to the idea that 56.21 is going to be our weekly higher low. 4-hour time frame. Well, here's that drop. Looks like in after hours we are getting that execution of 56.21, so that throws out our idea of the weekly time frame. So let's go back. Actually, let's mark this down. So this is going to be an important level. 50 psychological is going to be an important level for us going into tomorrow, and we go to the daily time frame. That's a big drop. That's pretty substantial. I would like this to recover in a big way during pre-market tomorrow. And then that really does set the tone for further downside continuation. So our weekly low, very likely not set, 56.21. Let's see here. Hourly time frame not giving us a bit more. Actually, well, we're setting up into another bear flag situation, which has more further downside risk. And again, we're going to need to see a drop below 50 psychological. And I realize that my thesis for establishing this weekly low has already been thrown off in my video, but I think there's enough value here in showing what this 4-hour bear trend and this daily bear flag sets up and how it actually came to play out. Because obviously I didn't spend a lot of time looking at the sub time frames. You know what? I'm okay with being wrong initially as long as we can learn from things, and that's what technical analysis is about. So here's our daily time frame. There's that bearish setup, and if we lose 56.21, we're going to see more downside. That's already played out. It's already played out in the hourly time frame, and there you go, bounce right off 50 psychological. So I guess what am I going to look for tomorrow? I want to see where we open. I'm going to use the 50 level as a hourly bounce target. So if we open right around 52, I'm going to look for a double bottom, signs of support at 50 psychological, and then I would take a smaller entry, start scaling into what I would hope to be the overall higher low on the weekly time frame, because we will likely bounce at some point. We're just not sure when that is. Obviously, it wasn't at 56.21, and I think I'm going to leave it at that. We'll follow up with AMBA as we proceed through the week and as this plays out, because this is going to be a little bit of a personal pet project for me, and I'm really curious to see what happens. Anyway, thanks for following along. I appreciate it. ChartGuys.com.